Hey y'all, this is Upstart Records, and this is our new podcast,
The Youth Movement,
a show that covers youth everything, what's happening, what's good, and what's popping in the Bay Area. This is our voice, our show, The Youth Movement.
The Youth Movement.
The Youth Movement.
Welcome to the Youth Movement. I'm Eric, and I'm here with my co-host, my buddy
Cameron. Hi, guys.
So today we're talking about living in poverty.
And you know what? Actually, Eric, speaking of which, so you're 18, right? You're living with your family and everything. But eventually you're gonna have to move out, and that time's kind of creeping up on you soon. So what do you want to do about that? Like, what are your plans?
Well, I was offered a spot in the LA build for Life Learning Academy. But if that doesn't work out, eventually that's going to have to end too, you know. Basically, I wasn't really planning on living in San Francisco because of how expensive the rent is, and most areas aren't very controlled in, rent amount. And it wasn't really an ideal choice. So I was basically going to move back to my little hometown, Los Baños, and then just commit to coming out here if I had a job, you know?
Your little desert of a hometown.
My little desert of a hometown.
Nothing is there.
There's everything there.
Except for like a KFC. But the average rent out here though, like speaking of which, is like $3,500. Like, what do you think about that?
That's outrageous. That is crazy. That's like out in Los Baños, you can get a 2-story house for like $1,400. Yeah, $1,400 compared to like a 2-bedroom house out here for like $3,500. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Oh, never mind. A 1-bedroom is $3,500 compared to a 2-story house that has 5 rooms.
That's no bueno.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
This is why I don't plan on living here. This is why you're going back out to LB. It's just no one can basically live here anymore off of like minimum wage. And even though that it is going up, I doubt by the time that when I turn 18 that I'm gonna have be financially stable and actually still live here. So that's why I'm kind of like paranoid of what the future is gonna look like. But this is why I'm also kind of thankful that the whole LLA build thing is going on right now.
So Cam, you and me know a lot about the LLA build, because we were one of the first people to be offered it. But in your opinion, what is the LLA build?
Well, LLA build is basically a tuition-free, place for kids who don't have a stable place to live to go to, and it's being, developed by Terry Delane. All the funds were coming from, different organizations who believed in this project and actually want this to happen. So then that kids can, have somewhere to stay and have, like a roof over their head and be able to wake up without being paranoid about what's going on or anything like that. It's going to be housing 20 students, and then it's also going to be open next semester.
That's cool. Yeah. It was actually kind of cool because when Terry was coming up with this idea, it was all a sketch, and now it's really becoming reality. It's really crazy because when she came up to me and she offered me it, I was already letting her know that, there was some financial problems going on in my home, and, she had the courtesy to extend her arms and offer me free housing until I'm able to, yeah, basically. And, I want to shout out Life Learning Academy right now because they've helped me in so many ways. They've helped me gain work experience. They've helped me learn to care more about my education. And I recently graduated. I'm a graduate, and it's a great feeling. I never expected to graduate from high school because I was kicked out of traditional high schools. But Life Learning Academy is really what their motto is, another chance, and to be ready for change.
Yeah, it definitely does suck that the rent around here is going up, but thankfully that we have a solution, and the school is giving us a chance to allow us to grow and be able to move out on our own when we need to.
Yeah, man, I agree. But on today's show, we're going to be talking to some kids that are basically going through living in poverty and the struggles of growing up in San Francisco.
I'm trying to get the words out of my tongue. It's like I seem to run from everything when a story begun. I was just a youngin' at the corner selling rocks, and my pops told me come inside before you get shot, But I was trying to come up with phase, cause I was trying to give me some pay, not get faced. All the tribulations in the sky fall. I'm trying to watch as my mom never called, cause I was a bastard child from my mother. See, it usually goes the other way around, but not in the story, cuz I was like Bobby Brown. Ain't nothing around me till I'm going down. And if she want me to sing her a little note, then I will, but you know, I ain't even got a will. Can I even afford a bill that I couldn't even pay?
We don't really ever get anything we really want. Like, it's always a struggle to keep food in the refrigerator and to keep, like, the lights on. Like, it's always a struggle every month to, like, know what we're gonna do, because we're always behind, because we take money from the next month. So then when the next months come, we never really have anything. We're always in debt. So it's always like a cycle of not having anything. I think it started just living, like, probably like ever since we moved to San Francisco, like, just our house, like our apartment, like, it's expensive because we live in like a nice neighborhood. Like, even though my mom is on Social Security and stuff, she still put us in a nice neighborhood, so we have to pay for that, and all the other costs of just living, like, it just got us behind. Like, we don't have enough money just to like live normally. So ever since then, like, we've just been behind. I think it's expensive in San Francisco because it's like a growing city. Like, they have everything you need. Like, a city, they have transportation, they have to pay for like the electricity for the like eco-friendly city, and like to pay taxes and stuff to keep our city going and beautiful the way it is. So that costs a lot. And just having it a popular city in general, you have to pay for location. To me, a normal life is like having all the necessities you need, like being able to do your laundry and having like food in the refrigerator, and like just normal stuff, like buy products you need to just like regular daily life that you just need. I've started doing like illegal stuff just to get by. Like, I'll go to the store and like steal groceries and stuff. Like, I go to Walgreens and steal like all the body washes I need and stuff. Like, I like steal the toothpaste we have because I know my mom doesn't have any money, so I just go and I just go and steal stuff for the house, like laundry soap or dish soap, just normal stuff like that. If you don't have money, like when you go out to hang out, what are you gonna do? You can't go be indoors. You can't go to the movies. You can't go like ice skating or anything. You're just out in the streets and you don't have any money for like some clothes or some shoes you want to buy. So that leads you to like, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know, you want to go get a bottle? Oh, I guess, let's go wreck a bottle. And then like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to go get some money? Yeah, but I really want to get these shoes. Like, I don't know, let's just like rob this female right here. It's like, if I don't have money, there's nothing you can do. You can't get out of the streets. You're just gonna be out there bored with nothing to do but get in trouble. One way I want to fix my problem is just not giving up. Just keep going to school, get my education, and just take advantage of all the free programs San Francisco and California provides for all these youth, because there are tons of them out there. So just take advantage and really just try my hardest to get ahead and stop slacking and just do what you have to do and be successful.
All right, let's get it started. So, can you state your name and what project you're from?
My name is Robert Williams, and I'm from the DJ Project. I'm 17 and I live in the Tenderloin, and I was born and raised in San Francisco.
Nice. Can you talk about the DJ project a little bit?
Well, the DJ project is event production, but it's based in 3 categories. You have the mixing, you have the event production portion, and then you have the video and editing and music portion. So it's like a 3-piece project altogether.
Why do you do this work at the DJ project? What motivates you to keep working there, and what's your purpose there?
To be honest, the only reason why I'm there is to really help the community. I want to I don't want to fix my community, but I want to inspire youth, and I want to help them become something more than just what they're labeled as. What
are the labels that teens have been given?
Like I've heard thug, I've heard drug dealer, I've heard dropout, I've heard, sad teenager, I've heard emo, I've heard like mess up. I've just heard a lot of names that, in my perspective, aren't what that youth are. Because once you get to know a youth and their backstory, it's something much more different. Someone called me, a dropout, or like not worthy of what I am capable of. So I basically took that, and it fueled my fire to want to become something. It fueled my fire to want to help somebody else.
Are you comfortable with speaking about your childhood and,
Yeah, I'm comfortable speaking about my childhood.
You want to open up on that a little more?
When I was little, when I was 4, I got took from my family, and I was into the CPS system for a very long time. I was there for 7 years. I went from I went from foster home to foster home for a good 7 years until my 8th year. My dad, he got me out of that. He told the judges that he would do classes and he would do all of this. At the time, my mom was struggling because she had 2 kids who stayed at home all the time. My sister was out of control and was wild, but it's not like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And my brother's currently doing 2 years in prison right now. So she had those 2 youth to worry about, on top of my cousins who lived with her and some of her sister's kids, because my mom raised over 8 kids.
Damn.
That 5 weren't even hers. It was just me and my sisters that were actually hers. But after that, I went back to my mom. Well, I stayed with my dad for a good 5 years until I was like 11. Mm-hmm. And then, well, not a good 5 years. 5 years. So I was like, 13, 14? And then then we moved in with my mom because my dad lost his place due to housing issues with paying rent, because rent went up. So
yeah. And where were you guys living at the time?
We were in South San Francisco.
Oh,
so it's really expensive.
I'm not surprised.
It became really expensive out there. The rent was like $2,000, and it was only like a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, I feel it, dude.
And
out here the Bay is just
terrible right now. Yeah. So we ended up moving in with my mom because she found a spot through her Section 8. She lived in Hunters Point. We lived there I lived there for a good 8 years. My dad got kicked out because he was doing a lot of drugs, but he stopped because he wanted to see me more. And I told him that I wouldn't see him if he kept doing those types of things. So me and my mom and my dad have a really close relationship now, due to programs and stuff of that nature. But right now I'm living with my sister because my mom recently lost her home due to housing issues because rent went up. And Hunters Point became now a $3,500 to $4,000 home that we originally paid $1,100 for.
Yeah.
It's the way the mayor and people in power spend taxes, spend that money. They're spending money on so many buildings that they're not putting it in. They're not thinking about youth. I mean, they are, but they're not giving as much as they're giving to, building homes.
So you feel like it's not evenly balanced?
No, it's not evenly balanced, because I know the projects are getting rebuilt, but people are getting kicked out of those projects who really need those homes. So what does that do? We have a really bad homelessness problem.
Yeah.
Like, we have way too many people on the streets. It's all bad right now.
What are your goals for your life? You know, like what do you feel you can do to make this place, you know, that we call home, a better place?
Just donate to youth programs like this one. If you donate $1 million to this program, you have better equipment, you have better you have a better space for youth to come into, and then they look at it and they're like, oh crap, they want to change, they want to do something, and then all of a sudden publicity adds into that, because you know, websites, and we have just so much tech in the city that it'll just boom and it'll blow up. So that's one of my goals is to really help out the youth around my city. Even if I'm like in Australia and I own millions of dollars, I'm going to give to the youth programs that helped me when I was younger. I'm not gonna, you know, sit by and watch the youth of the next generation be seen as failures, or seen as like messed up kids, or people who don't want to work, or you know what I mean. Marginalized youth everywhere are labeled as something, and I want to strip that label from them and, you know, have their minds expressed and show them new things that aren't really available to them, like making music or using different programs, or, you know, planning events for the community, such as, you know, cookouts or music videos, or just anything really.
Me personally, you know, because of Sunset Youth Services, it helped me find out my talent, or I guess it's a talent. I like to rap, you know.
I know. I remember. I heard your first beat on your iPhone 4.
Yeah. Do you have anything you're working on right now?
All right, I'll give you a little bit. I'm working on a book.
A book. Okay.
I'm working on a book of poetry, like things I like, things I see, things I like to write, just overall things about the city, things like just going on in my mind. But it's a book that, I'm writing.
Nice.
And that's all I can give you for right now.
You got a poem off the top of your dome?
Tears are little droplets of the river beginning to pour. It's falling down and crashing onto your cheeks. It can't stop once it's started. You try and wipe the river of sadness off your face, but it hurts your whole body, feeling cold and numb. You feel like death has given you a shower of sorrow. Your eyes of solitude show the pain in your body, in your heart, in your soul of alabaster.
All right, so thanks for listening to the episode of the podcast. It's hard to talk about the challenges we face, and we appreciate the stories that our guests have shared with us.
Yeah, definitely. And props to all the kids who are making art and making change.
The Youth Movement Podcast is produced by Cameron Collier, Noelia Gonzalez, Wendy Baker, Eric Cortez, and the team at Upstart Records. Our theme song was produced by Cameron Collier.
This podcast is recorded at Upstart Records, a project of Sunset Youth Services. We are funded by the Department of Children, Youth, and their Families, and the Youth Empowerment Fund. And special thanks to Nani Chambers, who inspired the creation of this podcast. She's like when your landlord calls and says, "It's on the house."